Hey there, welcome back. I hope everybody's doing good out there today. Today I'm going to be doing a warning video, and it's something I've been meaning to do for a very long time, but I just keep forgetting or just doing other songs or whatnot. I am finally going to do the gear masters for each one of the girls, Dani, Pau, and Ale. I'm excited for these. I'm actually going to, this may be a little bit longer video. I'm going to do all three in the same video. But I'm excited for this. This was requested by Stefan Padal. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And this was requested a while ago. So sorry it took me so long to get to it. I keep seeing it pop up. Other people are reacting to it. And I want to watch those reactions because I want to see what people who actually know gear. Because I'm not a gear person. I know a little about guitars, a little bit bass, a little bit about drums. I was a drummer in high school and college and in very small garage bands. I am not a good drummer in any sense of the word, but I know a little bit about drums. So I've wanted to see those videos from people who do know the instruments. But then I'm like, oh, I haven't watched it yet. I don't want to watch the reactions yet. So I'm excited to get to this one. Or these ones, because it's going to be 3 different videos, but I'm going to do them all in this video, so I can't wait. Real quick, I did want to remind you I do have a Patreon. The link will be down in the description. Most of my reactions go up there at least a day in advance. If you join the Blade series, you get a Patreon shout out request every month. Doesn't matter what it is, how obscure, how crazy. If you love it, I want to hear it. Sorry, I'm out of breath. If you want to donate a little more directly, I do have my PayPal and my Cash App and those links down in the description. And if there's a specific song you want me to get to really, really quick, the best way to do that is to request that with a donation. Those requests go straight to the top of the list. I get to them as quick as I can, usually within 2 or 3 days. Or 1 or 2 days. Occasionally 3, and once in a while, if I can't get to film, something's going on, maybe a couple days later than that. But generally, it's 1 or 2 days. But I'm excited for this. Let's go ahead and switch on over. The first one's going to be Dani. So here we go with the warnings. Daniela Villarreal Velez Gearmasters. I'm excited to hear what she said. I've heard some interviews with her about her PRSs and stuff, but I'm excited to see what goes into it. Before they start playing for everybody, what all goes into it. I'm excited for this. So here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm Dani from The Warning. I'm the guitar player and singer of the band. We're super excited to be headed out on tour, promoting our newest single, which is called More. Go ahead and listen to it. And today, I'm gonna be taking you through one of my guitars. Well, a lot of them. But first, this amazing PRS guitar. She's my baby. This is a custom 2408 guitar.
Sorry, I'm not going to stop it very much through these. But I did want to mention this was before she got Orianthe's what's it called? I forget the name of it. The cherry blossom PRS special that Orianthe gave her on stage at the PSR event, which I'm when I get to see them in about a month. In fact, just under a month. Actually, what is today? Yeah, just under a month. I know that on this last tour, she's been playing that guitar a lot, and I'm excited to see it. But her old PRS, gorgeous. In fact, I think she's got 2 at this time. She's got the red one and the blue one. She does have a blue one, I believe. I could be misremembering that, but I think she has a blue PRS as well. So, but anyways.
She was my first PRS guitar, and I completely fell in love with her during the pandemic. I was kind of like in this dating sense in guitars. I was really trying to find out where I was the most comfortable, and I found it right here with this beautiful baby. I take her everywhere. She's been with me through a lot of tours.
Oh, it's got her name on it.
And this is my main go-to guitar, which is super cool because if you see here, we have, this is the cool thing about the Custom 2408, we have the split coils, which you can have different combinations of pickups between all the different settings. We have this double switch here. And I did a little bit of modification. This is really new, but look at this. If I click on this switch, we get some LED lights in here for when everything goes dark. I will not lose my way. It's just very, very cool. You know, even though we're a super rock and roll band, most of my, the tunings of the songs are in E standard. I usually go all the way in tone, all the way in volume, because I'm the only guitar on stage, so I want to be as loud and as clear as possible. Also with the bridge pickups. And here, I really like to use both my humbuckers to like the most I can, right? I have some parts with cleans that I will go up here, but usually I just leave it like that. I like to play that with that more around in the studio, but for live purposes, that's usually where I just like go all out. For the strings, I use 1046. These are the Daddio strings, NYXL. And yeah, they're thinner strings because I have a tiny hand, but it's all good. They rock just as hard. So yeah, those are the strings that I use. So I really hope I don't cry when I tell you the story about this guitar.
And the story
this is a Gibson
amazing.
Explorer that was gifted to me last year by one of my idols, Lissy Hale. It's an incredible story because I was waiting for a guitar change from my guitar tech mid-show, and then I realized that he comes to take my guitar but he doesn't give me anything back, and I was just like, oh my god, what's happening? And then before I knew it, Lizzie Hale comes running on stage with this guitar and just like hands it to me. I was like, you're kidding. I thought she was lending me one of her guitars because it looks like really similar, but then after the show I was just like, I couldn't believe it, and she told me like, that is for you, and it was specifically made with the things that you like, your strings, this pickups, which yes, I love. And honestly, I still can't believe it. I take it everywhere with me because one of the things that she says, like, it's for you, please rock as hard as you can with it, and that's what I plan to do. I use this guitar very much the same as I use my PRS guitar. The only difference in this is that I had to like get used to the size of it. The first day I played it, I already nicked it. No. Oh my god, it has some battle scars. I'm not used to the dimensions, but I love it. All right. This one has a very similar story to the Explorer, which is crazy to think about. I just got this last month from the one and only Matt Bellamy from Muse. They have been my idols since I could remember. And we were talking about guitars, and at one point he just goes like, what's your favorite color? And I was just like, I panicked, I just said yellow. I was just like, but what kind of yellow? And it's like mustard yellow. Before I knew it, I have a one-of-a-kind Manson mustard yellow guitar.
I don't know that brand. I've heard everybody say it.
But the model is an
not
Onyx
a guitar brand I
6
recognize
because of the 6 strings. It's fairly new in the Manson world. I'm just trying it out. I'm testing it out live to see what are the songs, what are the tunings that I can use on it, and overall I'm still getting used to it, but it's gonna be my new best friend. I know it. We're gonna have great times together. And I also love the inverted headstock here. It's just like, ooh, nice. So overall, really love this guitar, and I can't wait to play it more. This is the pick that I use. It's a big stubby from Dunlop, and it's very funny. This is usually a jazz pickup, but I love how the grip feels on it, and honestly, this was made for me. Even though the sound could be a little bit harder with other picks, I really like this one because I feel like at the end of the day, the more comfortable you are with what you're playing, the better. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Welcome to my battle station. This is a Kemper Profiler pedal board, which I control every single song that I have on here. I have all the different titles of all of our songs. Oh, let me find our new single. Wait. There it is, more. What I love about this, it doesn't sound digital at all. I've had different types of pedal boards throughout the years, but I love the
That's cool. I was expecting, I guess more modern thing, have a one-piece pedal like that. other than the wah pedal. But for some reason in my mind, I was still expecting to see all the different, individual pedals that, big rock stars have. Those big pedal board it's literally a board with like 10 pedals on it. So that's very cool. It's a single piece that she can program, and I love that fact that she has the names of each of the songs. So she knows the settings are perfect for each of those songs. She doesn't have to like remember which setting on each button she needs to do. It just hits it and it's ready to go.
Hamper, because it's very, very organic sounding. I'm not gonna lie, to build this beauty took me a while. The cool thing about the amps and cabinets that I'm using is that they have been profiled, and those are David Bendit's amplifiers, and the ones that we used to record our latest album, because he was our producer. And I love that I can use the exact sound that I had for the recording and give it new life for the live version. So that is cool. Absolutely amazing to me. I usually have 4 different settings. We have the clean one, I go to my main one, and my main one are the chunky ones. That are the things I use to do my palm mute, so they're a little less behind in gain, so that they don't feedback a lot. Then I have like my big sound, which usually I add a harmonizer to it, which I'm the only guitar on stage, so I like to have a low octave as well, so I can just kind of grow super big, and that's my whammy one. I usually have a bridge one, which has a little bit more delay and reverb on it, so that it kind of like breathes a little bit more, and that's usually all that I do in basically each song. I actually have some songs that I love to play with the expression pedal and just going an octave higher. So I would just like play a note and go, and in solos, that's really, really cool. I don't use a lot of whammy in general for solos. It's just not my thing, but here is where I use it. I do not have a guitar plugged in. I'm just realizing that, so I can't show you. But in this one, I use the expression pedal a lot for that. Since I'm already using an amp over here, I do not find the necessity of having one here, but I love to hear my amp on stage. I love to feel the sound of the guitar. So I usually go through this pedal baby, which is just a preamp, into the cab so I can have my sound here. And the pedal board goes straight into the front of house console and just blast it out through the PA. Thank you for watching, everybody. Cool. You can watch our content on The Warning Rock Band on Instagram. We're The Warning on Facebook and everywhere else. So thank you so much and keep on rocking.
Hell yeah. Okay, so that was Danny's Gear Masters. That was great. I love that, learning about her pedal board. That's very cool. And y'all had mentioned, and I've seen it in comment sections of other reactors. I'm a huge reactor fan, so I watch tons of reactions, and you'll get people who just get to start listening to The Warning, and it's like, is there a do they have backing tracks? Which they do have some backing tracks, pianos, and a little bit of background vocals, and occasionally sound effects. But they don't use guitar backing tracks. I love the fact that, and I had never heard this before, that Danny does basically play 2 or 3 guitar parts at the same time, because with her setup, she can play, like she was saying, an octave down or some high, and it's very cool that you can do that. I've seen that in one other band that I saw, I saw like a little show up in Vancouver, Washington. It was oddly enough, it was in a Mexican restaurant, no stage, but one of the kids that worked there got permission from the owners to put on metal shows after they closed on weekends, and they just cleared tables and set up in the corner. And there was this one band, what were they called? Athearchists, kind of a mix of atheists and anarchists. It was just 2 members, a guitar and a drummer, but the guitarist his guitar had 2 plug inputs, and it was so that it would give basically a more basic version of that, where he could play his guitar and it would also give bass tones. So it would like he plugged basically both a guitar amp and a bass amp into the same guitar, and it would do both, which was very cool. And this it seems like a much higher level of that, but it's very cool. That was really, really great. Let me switch over to Pau. The only direction I went with this was Danny's the oldest, Pau's second, and Ale's youngest. That's why I'm doing them in these orders. So let me go ahead and switch on over to Pau. Here we go. And here we go with the Warning's Paulina Valeriel Velez Gear Masters.
Hi, I'm Paulina. I am the drummer from The Warning, and right now we're in the North American leg of our Error World Tour. It's the second leg we're doing here in the US, and we're very excited. We just released a new song that is called More, and this is like one of the first times that we've been playing it throughout this tour, so it's been really cool. I've actually had...
Pau. How could you do this to me? She's wearing a Wrigley Field shirt. She's wearing a Cubs shirt. That is illegal. I'm a huge Cardinals fan. I can't abide by Cubs merch. But anyways, I'll let her be this time. But you need a St. Louis Cardinals shirt, not a Wrigley Field shirt.
To modify my kit to play that new song. So I'm gonna walk you through it. This is a DW performance.
Sorry, shouldn't have stopped. I'm going to go back again. As a former drummer, this is where I'm really interested to see, because I had a kit. I had a couple, some. It was a very cheap set. I got it. I forget. It was like a used set I bought at the local music shop. It wasn't a pawn shop, but it was a regular music shop that they just took in this very beat up. I had to modify the floor tom because the legs of the floor toms were screwed up. I had to modify the bass drum pedal because the chain was so thin. It was a chain fed, but the chain was like so thin, and I broke it almost immediately. So I basically had to fix it with. I cut up a leather belt and used the belt as for the beater of the pedal. But I'm super interested in more modern drums, and of course the nice, very nice, more expensive drums. So this is the Gear Masters that I'm most interested in, although I love the other ones, but this is what I'm looking forward to.
So I'm gonna walk you through it. This is a DW performance series, and she's called Bonbon, which is marshmallow in Spanish. I got it during the pandemic, and I was gonna use it for the first time, and then pandemic happened. So it still feels very new to me. This is a 10-inch tom. This is a 12, and that usually I go for a 14 here, but right now for live, I'm using a 16, and this is an 18. So I just can get that deep sound. I use the toms a lot, for main.
Sorry, there's an ad. I love how much she uses the toms. I've said it in a bunch of their videos. I love that a lot of times she goes with the toms rather than a cymbal as her more consistent beat, while the snare is still the offbeats. I really love the tone of her toms and just how much she uses them. So.
That deep sound. I use the toms a lot, for main rhythm parts. So I really wanted to get that depth in there. My bass drum actually is a little bit shorter in depth. This is 2214 bass drum. My snare is a hand-hammered Black Beauty. As you can see, she's a beauty. I really like the snare. I've been using it for kind of a short time. It was actually a gift, so I'm very happy with it. It has a very deep sound. It sounds gritty. It depends on obviously how you tune it, but my drum tech Carlos always gets just such a beautiful hard-hitting sound out of it. I use clear pinstripe Remo heads, again 10, 12, 16, 18 on the snare. I use the controlled sound coated one from Remo. So the tuning, especially in the toms, usually varies. These are usually tighter so I can get a good bounce from it. It sounds higher. But these ones are usually kind of tricky sometimes because I like them very loose. I like them
deep sounding. But sometimes we get a lot of resonance. But Carlos, my drum tech, has this very cool trick. I don't know if you can see inside the drum, there are cotton pads. We use those to remove our makeup after the shows, and Carlos one day he just put them there, and it really dampens the sound, but it doesn't like mute it completely, so that's great. So I can get them a little bit loose without it being a complete mess for our sound engineer. So I am a Sabian artist, and I use HHX all over my drum kit. This is an 18 HHX, this is a 16, this is also 18, the Ozone Evolution, and a 20 China. This is a 14. I use this on very few songs, but it does make a huge difference because I keep this a little bit more close than I do this one. So every time I just want to like ride over here when I'm doing like double bass pedal things, I use this one. This is a little splash. I love it. I don't use it as much as I would like to, but hopefully in newer songs I can incorporate it more. My ride, it's a Raw Bell Dry Ride 21, and it's a beauty. This is my absolute favorite cymbal ever. I've been using it for years, I think for like 6 years now, and it has such a cool sound. I crash a lot all the time, but I used to have just a normal, like another HHX over here, but this, it just sounds so much darker, so it really cuts through like the brightness of these.
I have noticed a lot more bands are using the effects cymbals, the ones with the holes. Like a lot of people use those ones that have the big holes around them. Some of them have like tons of little holes. I just don't remember. Maybe I just am misremembering, but I just don't remember that many bands using effects cymbals like that. But recently, everybody's using them, which is cool, and gives a great new sound to the cymbals. But it's just, I started seeing them in the last few years, and it's just like I don't remember those. I mean, I didn't have fancy cymbals. I think I had 2 crashes, a ride, and a hi-hat. But then they were again very cheap cymbals. But I would always be in the music shops looking at the different cymbals, like, oh, one day I'm gonna have these Sabian or Zel or all the different fancy brands. But I don't remember seeing all the different effects ones that have the holes in them, and they're very cool and they sound really cool. So it's interesting that as a former drummer, I don't know anything about those type of cymbals. It's very interesting.
HHX ones. I just incorporated this cowbell, this LP cowbell,
More
to
cowbell.
my drum kit because our new single More has a part with cowbell, and it's really fun using it. I haven't used a cowbell in like years, and it has like its little tricks because sometimes it just like really falls, but it sounds so cool, and it's just really fun to just like drive in that. I love it. I am a big Firth artist. I use 5B barrel tip. I just changed drumsticks actually. I used to use 5A, but I'm a very hard hitter, and I wanted to stop. Like it just felt really light in my hands, so I got this heavier set, and I've been using it this whole year, and it has made such a good difference. I don't have to use as like much strength to get like a very hard.
Sorry, I know we're watching her Gear Master, and I keep talking about stuff that I did. When I played, for some reason, I don't know why, I always played with the sticks backwards. I would hold the tapered end and hit with the just full round back end. I don't know why. Maybe I felt like I was hitting harder, or I got a bigger sound without hitting as hard. But for some reason, I always played with the sticks backwards. It felt more comfortable to me. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm sure that was a terrible idea, but it's what I did. But I just thought that was, I've always wondered why I don't see more people doing it. Probably because it's a bad idea, but nobody else I know, no bands I know play like that. No drummers I've seen play like that. I'm just weird, I guess.
Deep sound out of them. This DW rack that I have, it's actually been like very modified by my dad. My dad like loves hardware, and it used to be like a little bit too large for me, so he like grabbed like a saw and just started cutting everything to my size, and everything is just like so meticulously measured, and marked. So like every time that we're touring, like my drum tech and everyone in production can just set everything up really quickly. So it's very efficient. Every time we open for a band or something, we can get everything done in a very short amount of time, so we're not bothering anybody, and it's great. And it's also very comforting to arrive to each show knowing that the measurement of everything is gonna be exactly the same each show. So you don't get like wonky drum sets sometimes. It's all measured precisely. The pedal that I'm using is a Machine DW pedal. I used to use a direct drive from DW, but after they released the chain one, I prefer this one so much more. And it takes a while getting used to it, but once you get the hang of it, it's so easy to control. And again, I'm a very hard hitter, so it just comes back to me in such a easy way for me to like not hurt myself while I'm playing, and I just really love it. I've been using it for a while. In my hi-hat, I'm using 9000 DW. I'm a DW girl. And for my MIDI pedals, I'm using some Roland MIDI pedals. They're very heavy, which is great. So basically, I launch all of our like stems and click through Ableton. And I used to have to do it with like manually, but it kind of looked really like clunky. Like after every single song, I would have to go and click enter. So with these MIDI pedals, I can launch the whole show without anybody noticing. And I used to have like, I've been through so many MIDI pedals and MIDI pads, but these are so great because they're really heavy. So like, they're not gonna be set off by like the slightest movement. They're like, it takes a good hit for it to change the scene. So they're fantastic. I have a start pedal and a stop pedal just in case something goes wrong. We're all human, so sometimes we need to stop the click track. It's just so efficient for everybody to have these systems, and it's fantastic. The drum throne that I use is the DW Airlift 9000. It's great. I use it in the lowest setting because I'm really short.
I use an office chair.
So, but it's really comfortable.
It was so sad.
For in-ears, I use in-ears audio. They are fantastic. Usually we grow them out really quickly, but these have just like really lasted. And usually the problems that we have with in-ears is like the cables at one point, like they just don't plug in correctly and you don't hear stuff. But these ones have lasted wonderfully. What I hear the most in my mix is the bass, because me and my sister are just like really connected when we're playing. So having that, like those bass ends, just like really makes a big difference. For my kick block, I have a kick block because I hit it very hard and usually it just goes so far. Sometimes like when we didn't have a kick block, sometimes Carlos, my drum tech, would just have to be like there in front of the drum just like for it to not move. So that is a lifesaver and I love it. So that was my gear run through. Once again, we are The Warning. Our webpage is called thewarningband.com. We are The Warning Band on all social media, so go check us out. Thank you for watching.
Okay, that was fun. I love Pau. She's such an amazing personality. Loved all the information about the drums. Like I said, I'm super interested in that. And just as she was going over it, I'm like, what was my kit like? And obviously not good, but it was fun. I love drumming as bad as I was. My drumming was I could keep a beat. Trying to add in a fill or change a time or something like that was always just bad news. I could keep a good even beat, and that's where I was at. That was my contribution to the bands I was in, is being able to keep a beat. Other than that, I was just screwed. But that was great to hear about. So now let's switch over to Ale, and here we go with The Warning's Alejandra Villarreal Velez Gearmasters.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Villarreal and I am the bass player of the band The Warning. Our new single, More, just came out, so go check it out. And I am going to be talking about my bass today. So, this is my bass. This is a
Gorgeous
custom
bass.
USA bass. It's an NS5 XL. I am a Spectre artist. I designed this bass with them. Everything from the wood and the material, the color, everything, every step we did it together, to the inlays, which is this is our logo.
Such a great
so
inlay.
everything we did together, and I really love it. We did special wood in the back. I think it's redwood to make the base lighter, because most of their bases are extremely heavy, and so I just wanted to make it a bit lighter, but it's still great wood for the sound of the bass, and I feel like it's just perfect for everything we do with the band. So yes, I love it. I started using a 5-string bass like maybe 3 years ago now, 4 years, and I quite love it. A fan actually gifted me a Spectre bass, a 4-string Spectre bass, like 5 years ago maybe, and since then I've loved Spectre, and I'm really proud to now own a custom bass. You can actually get this design, which is called Alice Inferno, in the Spectre website, and we just released a signature model, which is my model. It's a 4-string bass, and it was inspired by this original bass that we designed with Spectre. So yeah, and it also has my signature in the back, which is awesome. I love it. And the last thing that we just added to this bass are lights. And so it looks really cool, but it's also really helpful for when we play live, and the lights are all over the place. It's just so I can go back and I know where I'm playing. So these pickups are EMGX pickups. I have, 2 normal knobs and a stack, I think, knob, that's how they're called. And this is regular volume. This is the blend for the pickups. This side is mostly this pickup. I use it in the middle. And these are the bass EQ. These are the high ends. I use it almost all the way up, not all the way up though. I use it in standard tuning, so it's B, E, A, D, G. Standard tuning all the way. The strings, I use the Dario strings. I use the NYXL 45 to 130, and I love them. They sound pretty good. They last a really long time, and they're not too bright, they're not too flat, I guess. But yeah, I love these strings. I don't have to change them out as often. This is my pedal board. I don't use that many pedals, but this is a preamp. I love this preamp so much. I actually used it. It was one of the first pedals I ever got. And then I stopped using it, and then I was like, I miss this pedal, and it's such a good preamp. Really, this is how I control most of the sound that goes out when we play live. I really like the bass to really cut through. Since we're a trio, we feel like the bass is really important, so we really want to have that bottom end, but this also really helps us define well what I'm playing, because sometimes
her bass is so important to that band. They're so bass heavy. I love it. I love how many songs start out with the bass. She's such a fantastic bass player too. It annoys the piss out of me. Not very often. In fact, it's only really happened 1 or 2 times, and never in my comments. You guys are fantastic with these girls, but I was watching a reaction to another band or another reactor doing them, and this guy commented about her not being a good bass player, that she's basic, she doesn't do anything fancy, or she doesn't do anything complicated. Bullshit. Excuse my language, but bullshit. She does some really crazy stuff. She's such a good bass player, and the bass is so important to this band. I don't comment. Don't get in comment wars with people, but all I wanted to say is, like, she is the bass player in a very successful band that relies very heavily on bass. Don't tell me she's not a good bass player. She is freaking fantastic. I love this girl. She is so good.
you really can't hear what the bass is playing. You can only feel it. I mostly only use the Engage. I don't use the AGS, but this is the gain volume. It's not the volume of the gain. And I really just use it up half, treble, half. Everything is mostly in the half position. Bass, not too much, not too little. Mid frequencies, mid levels, they're all just halfway there. With a mix of this and my bass, it's really easy to be able to, you can to be able to hear what I'm playing correctly without losing that bottom end. So I feel like that's really important to me, and this really helps me do that. As well as this other pedal, which is the dark glass microtubes. I love this bass overdrive. It's so good. I've also tried a lot of overdrives over the past few years, and this one is really cool because it's really easy to blend the overdrive, like the distortion sound, as much as you can or as little as you want it to. So it's not really overpowering, and you can still hear what I'm playing. Like, as I said, like you can hear the bass lines without becoming just like this mess of like distortion. This is the overdrive. I usually leave it all the way up, and I mix as much of it as I want. And here, this is the blend between your normal bass sound and the distortion. I usually keep it almost halfway there, as everything. So yeah, here you just blend it as much as you want, and it's really nice because you can still hear the original sound of the bass just with a bit of distortion on it. So it's amazing. I quite love it. This is my lovely tuner. You can't have a pedal board without a tuner. It's really important to me, and it also serves as a mute button. It's just muted, and it's really nice as well because even while I'm playing, I can see the tuner move around. So if I'm ever like mid-song and I have no idea if I'm tuned well, I can play a note and it'll tell me if I'm tuned or not. So yeah, it's just my tuner. This is the switch between my wireless, so I can use it. Normally this is for the wireless, and the wireless is at the bottom, so it's packed in here. So yeah, this is just to activate and deactivate the wireless pack. So yeah, this is what I use for live shows. I don't have this actually at home, but this is what we use for live shows. This is an Ampic cab. This is an 8x10, and it's just that classic Ampic sound, which I love. And this is a Mesa amp. It is mic'd and all, but we mostly use this for on stage and for like the people in front, so you can really feel the bass. I love this. It's honestly such a help when we're on stage, because sometimes you can't really feel the energy that the crowd feels. Like you can't feel it on stage, and the amps like really help us to feel the bass. So
I love how much she's emphasizing feeling, not just hearing the bass, but feeling it in your chest. That's so important, especially in a live setting like that.
Mostly, I just love it to have like a lot of bottom end, so I can feel and listen my bass on the outside as well. So thank you so much for watching. Cool. Don't forget to check out our new music and go to thewarningband.com for any other information you want to know about us. And yeah, thank you.
She's such a sweetie. Okay, so that was The Warning. Move this so it's not so bright on my face. That was The Warning with all three girls, Gear Masters. Very interesting, great information. Really enjoyed that. It was fun to watch them, and you get to see their personalities just glow when they're talking about their equipment. That you can tell how much they love playing music, and how much they love their equipment that they've fine-tuned over more than 10 years now of figuring out what they want and what they like. And love hearing, like Ale describe her custom bass that she got to build at Spectre, and then they turned that into a signature bass that you can just go out and buy, which would be cool. And Pau talking about how much she loves how much detail on each piece of equipment on her drum kit is exactly what she wants it to be. And then Dani with her love of her guitars, and it's just so much fun. And I'm glad that they have so much fun and they enjoy it so much. I hope they keep that passion for playing their music for the next 50 years. I hope they'll be around for the next 50 years. It'd be amazing. This was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.